can hear me. I just want to make sure you can hear me. Assalamu alaikum. So we're going to just wait for some people to come into the live and then we'll get started. Welcome. Welcome, guys. We're about to get started in 1 second. All right. So our title for today is the Black Magic and the Witches and Warlocks in Society. So a lot of the negative energy that you have been receiving in your homes is because of the black magic that has went forward over in life. So we cleanse that type of negative energy. We cleanse that type of negative energy. Uh, hello. That's Dreams Music. Hi, much love to you too. So we're able to cleanse negative energy, but first you have to make sure that you are in alignment. You have to make sure that you are praying. You have to make sure that in many cases you'll have to fast to remove these spells. A lot of these spells have been put in music, and this is why, the Holy Bible will tell you, and the Holy Quran, you do not suffer for a warlock or a witch to live, because they are malevolent. They will send out negative frequencies and attacks. Supernatural things will start to happen in your life. And only spiritual healers, Reiki healers, can remove those types of attacks upon your life. So when you are having these types of attacks that are coming from frequencies in music, in many times you will become violent. The lyrics act as frequencies, the music act as frequencies. A lot of our young people are also, in jail because of some of these lyrics that are in the song, and they started to act up on them. So we also have to take a look, because we've been talking about the movies, this week, certain movies that they put spirituality in, but we have to talk about the malevolent end. There's another end to this, where you have young men who want to stay on video games all day, who want to play video games all day. Those are malevolent frequencies as well that they put into those video games, where they will become, violent when they don't have their way, when you are trying to bring them into correction. They will become under their ego. So we want to make sure that we're cleansing these negative energies, turning off these frequencies and these radio waves, these microwaves that are in our homes. We have to shut down these black mirrors in order to cleanse the negative energy in our homes. If you're not using it for a good purpose, if you're not using exactly, You know, these types of things, we can see it in our children, but it also happens in adults. If you have been playing these video games, and like I say, you know, I remember when I was younger with my brothers, um, we were playing the Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, those types of games like that. But now they have malevolent frequencies in these video games that's making our young men very violent, you know, especially towards women. So, you know, we've been looking on the internet where at the first of the year, during the Christmas holidays, where we had some young men that just lost their mind. And I'm talking about 25, 30 years old because they didn't get the video game that they wanted. They didn't get, you know, the female, she bought the children some gifts and he did not get a gift, the video game he wanted as an adult, and he just went through the house and tore it up, you know. So these are the types of things, the frequencies that they are putting in video games. And I wanted to cleanse this negative energy because there are malevolent people who are designing these games. Yep, you speak about this these dreams music. You speak about this all the time to my partner's children. Exactly, exactly, because it's absolutely going on in society, and they don't know why their children are reacting. You know, there was one young man, he they said that he was, you know, ADHD. He just threw a rock in his mother's car, and he can't afford to buy a car. He can't afford to pay bills, but he can be destructive because these types of negative entities has been attached to our children through the video games, through these movies, through the internet, and the things that we have allowed to let them watch. These malevolent people who have designed these types of movies and video games, the music, they know what they are doing. They have scientifically inclined frequencies in these movies, downloaded into these movies, into this music, into these video games. And we have to be able to cleanse it. Video games are, well, in many cases, Mem Memsi Duff, Mimsy Duffy, in many cases, a lot of the TV and the video games and the internet, they are raising our kids in society, especially if it's a single parent household. If the mother has to work and, you know, she has to give the children some kind of entertainment. If they're alone, then a lot of times they are, you know, they are being raised by the TV and the internet, especially at an early age. You know, a lot of these children, these toddlers, you know, I was looking at it the other day. They should not be given your iPad or your phone as a babysitter. Exactly, exactly. You know, they should not. It's a vibration that they should not be ready for. You're exactly right. These dreams, you know, I really appreciate all of you. You know, thank you for your comments because you're exactly right. You know, they're not ready for that kind of frequency. They're not ready for that intentional kind of download into their mind. I was talking about that with the Harry Potter movies. They're not ready for that. They made that for kids, but they put spiritual things in there. And a lot of these kids off of those movies are walking around here thinking that they're gothic and they're evil. So we have to make sure that we are shedding it down in our lives. We have to make sure we're monitoring what our kids are watching, who has made that type of application that they're watching. You know, I saw some things with Peppa Pig, you know, and like I say, I had younger siblings. So I automatically know some of these things, what you call it, Baby Shark and all of this type of stuff that I had to watch. But, you know, there's a lot of things that you do not want in your child's mind. You do not want that's causing the mental attachments, that's causing the black magic to go over into our children. Yeah, yeah, yes, it is an alignment. It's an alignment of our ancestors using for healing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So we want to make sure that when we're healing these types of frequencies, that we know what they are. Because a lot of it can cause the ADHD in your child. A lot of it can cause, the shutdown of your child, because they're not like other children. When you do not, let them do what they want to do, when you take that iPad, when you turn the TV off, when you turn that video game off, you're going to see what kind of entity is attached to your child. And usually it's going to be a violent one. When you take, or when you don't have that kind of video game, that your boyfriend or your husband, and I don't like to say boyfriend, because we're gonna get everybody married, I hope. So so when you don't get him that video game, and he just goes off violently, then you know that those frequencies are attached to that person. I've seen a couple of things, and we don't really have the women that are attached to video games like the young men are, but they are attached to the love and hip hop and these stories. And so we have to turn those things off, because that's mimicking someone else's life. That's mimicking the Europeanized life that they want to see us in. We don't want to do that, you know. So we're going to be able to cleanse these types of black magic coming from these frequencies. If you're not using these types of things for a good purpose, if you're not online, trying to help our youth, trying to educate us, if you're not a content creator that's trying to offer your services to heal the hearts and minds of our people, then if you're on there fighting and all of this, and all you want to see is some boop boop shaking, and some dudes with their shirt off, then this is not what we're doing, where we're putting each other down. We have to really get away from that kind of malevolent content given to us by these people using the black magic, sending out negative frequencies in our communities, in our homes, teaching our children how to, devalue us, teaching our men how to devalue us, teaching the women how to be devalued in society. So, this is not what we were like, I would say, in I would say around about the 30s and the 40s. No, we're not answering you. You get out of here. Get out of here. Always when I'm on a live, they always want to mess with me. But anyway, guys, I would say between the 30s, 40s, and the 50s, when our parents, were younger, when our grandparents were younger, we didn't have this problem with not being able to get married, with not being able to understand what modesty is, with not understanding that either you're going to church or I'm gonna do something to you. That's how our parents were. You going to church? We don't care what you say. uh, Rastafari. That is so lovely. That's so lovely. These dreams. I really appreciate it. Long as you're teaching them something, because we have an understanding that a lot of our parents could not train our young men, our young women. Either they were trying to go to work, or either they were single parent households where the father was not there. And we have to be better than our parents. We have to be better than our parents with these youth that's coming up. And my grandmother used to always say, because she caught me one day sneaking out the house and sneaking back in and taking her car and parking it somewhere she hadn't parked it. And And she said every generation gets weaker yet wiser. So that is also from the Holy Bible. So we have an understanding that we're going to need everything that our generations before us, the ancients, our ancestors have given us to clean up the mess that has been made in our society, in our homes. We have to start with ourselves as the women, not wanting to be, look like the Europeanized. If that's what our men want to do, if they want those type of women, we have to let them go towards that. But we're not putting that hair in our head because it causes cancer. It's causing, problems with our reproduction, and it's causing problems with our beauty. So we want to make sure that we're preserving ourselves as much as we can. Also, for the men and the women, we can no longer, let those types of frequencies, come into our mind that we have to be in proximity to the Europeanized people by processing our hair. That also causes the carcinogens in our body, in the reproductive problems in our body. Exactly. Naturally is best. Natural is the best. These dreams, I can't even get it out. These dreams music. Yeah, natural is the best. So I went natural a long time ago. I think my mother back in the day, back in the 80s, I believe, she wanted, she had girls. I have brothers and sisters, so she didn't want to do hair. So she had to do her hair and her daughter's hair. And so she just decided that she was going to put a Jerry curl in her hair. And then from there, I let the Jerry curl grow out, and then I put a perm in there, and I had the Bantu perm, and it was over with. And then I just said I can't even deal with this no more. This is getting ridiculous. I was burning my head and all kinds of stuff. Oh no. So we got rid of that. So we just went back natural, and my hair started to grow. It got better. It started, my scalp started to get the air that it needed, away from all of those chemicals. And, there are a lot of people that are in litigation about these chemicals that's causing cancer as well for our people. So this is intentionally done. This is a frequency that has been sent out against our people. So, I wanted to let you know these types of different kinds of radio frequency. Now, let's talk about these laws that have been sent out over our people. These are frequencies. These are spells up on our people. And the only way that we can break them is to move away from them, is to call our power back, is to, let our young women and men understand, if you go out there and you're caught up doing something that you're not supposed to be doing, I cannot let you put me and my children at risk. That's how my parents were. If you want to go out there and be a hustler, if you want to go out there with that little boy and you get pregnant, can he take care of you? You're going to have to stay with him. Really, really. So these are the types of frequencies that truth breaks, that black magic that has been sent out over us to date, and not to get married. There is a lot of disease going on in our community because these frequencies have went out. This black magic over our people's mind to think that they can sleep with people and have no consequences. A lot of these people know that they have HIV. They know that they have AIDS, and they will still attack you in that way. So, these are our understandings that back in my time, in the 70s, with my parents, you would, either obey, or what it was. You can hit the door. So this is how our parents were. We have to get back to that sternness. You don't have to be mean, but we have to tell them the truth, that if you're going against the laws of my house, these are the laws that God has given us. The men have to stand up. We have to stand with our men. If you are, telling the truth, if you're standing up, if you're upright, if you're righteous, if you're not using the brute force. We understand that these children, they get out of hand. But to be abusive, the way that our parents was beating us with, we wasn't getting whoopings, we were getting beatings. We were getting beatings with, extension cords and and all those types of things. The high heel shoe and anything they pick their heads up with. So we have to do better than our parents and understand that sparing the rod than spoil the child doesn't mean abuse. So, we have that understanding. We also have the understanding in society that, we are supposed to be against each other. This is also another type of spell that has been sent out over our lives. That men are supposed to be against each other, mother against daughter, daughter against mother, all of son against father. All of these types of things have gone over. We have to be able to break those spells over our lives. Just because it has been said, that doesn't mean that it's true. A lot of you have this understanding that also means that people have sent negative energy to you and your families. And I have to talk about this because it's absolutely true. When you're unable to talk to your fathers, when you're unable to talk to your mothers on a human being level without violence ensuing, without abuse coming into play, then someone has done something in your lineage and it needs to be cleansed. Some of you have this type of negative energy attached to your body. You can see it in your face. That's why a lot of you may never be able to move forward out of the city that you're in because someone in your family has tied you to them. Someone has tied you to the home and enslaved you to the family. These are the types of understanding that you will have as men and women. Once you understand what black magic is, it is to manipulate you. We have been manipulated in society. Do I believe that the vaccine have a lot to do with it? Yes, I do. Yes, I do, because you don't know what they're putting. Well, see, here we go. I thank you for bringing up that topic. But yes, I do believe that a lot of the medications that they have been putting in these shots, even before now, that's why our people did not really just go to the doctor like that. That's why a lot of guys don't like to go to the doctor because they are experimenting on us, as we are seeing that they are trying to put forever chemicals in our food. They have been experimenting on us. If this is your enemy, why would you trust them with your life? Ah, I understand. Yeah, yeah. See, if you do not know what's in the vaccine, if they cannot tell you what's in the vaccine, if they have been giving you different kinds of warnings that if you take this vaccine, you're at your own risk. So that's initially what it was. But by the same token, we have to make sure that we create our own spaces, and that's what I'm here for. These dreams music. I'm here to make sure that we are using our talents and we're calling back our talents from these colonizers. We're calling back our financial power from these places, and we're putting it in our people who have the knowledge to educate our kids, who have the knowledge so we don't have forever chemicals and GMOs in our food, who have the knowledge, and we got to take our really our power back from these people, because a lot of you out there are geniuses. A lot of you out there know how to build things. A lot of you, have military backgrounds like my father and my grandfather, where you know how to train the young boys how to fight, how to do certain things in society. Like I say, my father and my grandfather, they were carpenters. So, they taught us how to do a lot of things, and for many cases, and I just want to make sure that I'm talking to you men right now. When my brothers did not want to learn, when they wanted to go and do what they wanted to do, when they wanted to go to, Lenox Square Mall, in Georgia, then my father taught me how to be an electrician because they didn't want to learn. For you guys out there, you're going to have to put your foot in some of these young men behind so that they can have skills, because nobody, well, the way that I was raised, I don't want to be with somebody who doesn't know how to change my tire. I don't want to be with, somebody who doesn't know how to cook and clean too. If you're a filthy man, I'm gone. I'm bye. Bye bye. Very simple. If you're a filthy woman, you don't know how to cook and clean, and you talking about you been in your clothes for the same clothes for 2 weeks. You talking about you depressed, ADHD. Bye bye. Bye bye. I'm teaching my nephews and all of my people bye bye. If you're gonna have some skills. In other words. And for a lot of you men, and I have to say it to you because it's necessary, you're going to have to make them get up off the video game and teach them some life skills. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We're going to have to get these young ladies, and give them some life skills. I teach my young people. When I was the candy lady in haberdashery, I made, a hell of a lot of money, because I was hiring the 15-year-old, 16 years old. I was teaching them how to bake pies from scratch, make the crust from scratch, just the way that I learned in the country. So, that's not the only thing that I was teaching them. The older young ladies, I was teaching them electricity, how to, install fans in the wall. I was teaching them how to do nails. Whatever they wanted to learn from me, they could come and work for me in the haberdashery and learn how to do these types of things. So we have to, stop trying to make everything about, and I hate to say it like this, but I'm going to say it about freaking money all the time. It's not about the money. It's about our people don't have the skills. They're homeless out here and they're doing strange things for a piece of change, especially our young men. And, it's disgusting and it's heartbreaking. So we have to stop this, black magic that has gone over from society, from the governmental narcissists. And we have to stop this type of narcissists in our community, in our family, our parental narcissists. That everything has to be about, about money. How come it can't be about making your legacy? That's my point for us today, that we have to leave a legacy because our parents did not and could not. And we have to come together in order to do this, to break this black magic over our lives that have been sent to our minds, where, what I'm saying, we're gonna be an entertainer or a rapper, or we're gonna be, one of these girl rappers. How come you can't just want to be, some a professional architect or something like that? Why you can't want to be your own boss? Why you can't want to run your own business? Why you got to be what they say you're supposed to be? That is also the black magic that has gone over into our society. So, these are some of these I'm a healer. 432 hertz sound healer. Exactly. I appreciate that. Dash Dreamer Music 777. That's that jackpot. Yeah. So, I invite a lot of you. I invite you, to reach out to me so that, we can start, investing in our own future. And I really hated to ask people. Exactly, that's why I say, donate to me, even if it's $1, donate to me, so that we can get somewhere, so that our kids are not on the street, even if their parents put them out. And I've had a lot of people, a lot of young people call me and say that, and say, my parents put me out, and I did a video about it, and they put him out because they graduated from high school. They put him out because she was a cashier and they wanted all the money. So, that really ticks me off that, our parents got a head start on us, and they want to be greedy like the entity. We're not supposed to treat our own people like that and turn our own people out of our homes. I did a video about that earlier today. I think it was my 12 o'clock video, and how, these people, our parents, are going to be punished for doing things that they know is against what God has commanded. So, I really, yeah, please reach out to me, these dreams. I really want to heal this negative frequency, because a lot of people don't know that it has been sent into our system. They don't know that it is a generational curse. Unless you're breaking these types of curses with something that is good for your soul, unless you're putting something in your mind that is good for your soul. Because if you're watching, and I hate to say it, porn every day, if you're watching these soap operas every day, and you're putting stuff in your soul like Wendy Williams, and everything is, it's comedic, then you're not putting the right things in your soul, and definitely not in your children's soul either. So we have to cleanse that negative energy in order to move forward in our community, in our lives. And I thank all of you for your support. I never wanted anybody to help me, when I was younger. So that's why I opened up the haberdashery and the candy lady, and I made a killing, just selling food, selling candy, selling plates, and selling some of my remedies. So I hope you guys have received this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me. I'm here right now. I left Georgia. I'm here. I took the money with me. So we're going to start something else somewhere else. So I appreciate all of you guys. Reach out to me and book your one-on-one sessions with me. Book your life coaching sessions with me. You can also book your video chat sessions, so I can acclimate a gift to your situation. If you have been attacked in your family by black magic, if you have been attacked on your job, in business, in your community by black magic, if you need my help, reach out to me in the description. I'm High Oracle. Donate to me. Assalamu alaikum.